again, or looking forward to hear other speakers as well. आपने क्रिकेट की बात की, I just want to say कि एजाइल मैनिफेस्टो की जो डिक्लेरेशन हुई है वो भी इसकी रिजॉर्ट पे हुई थी. तो स्पोर्ट्स आर रियली they have the potential for the project management as well, or agile management as well. So let me share the screen. Is it visible?
It's loading. Yeah, it's now visible. Enterprise agile management. Yep.
Yes. So EAM and leadership. Basically, I will not go into much details, technical details. You may say we'll talk lightly on few subjects. I have few certifications in agile management. I think I'm one of the maybe 100 people who have this kind of skill set in project management. So somehow I explore traditional, hybrid, and agile PM methodologies. So what we will talk about is about 68 magic words for which we are here. And it's been 20 years since those 68 magic words were manifestoed. We'll talk about some reflections, failures, sooner or later. We'll talk about books, a movie talk maybe. We'll talk about tribes, movements, leadership levels, and snowflakes. So, and there is a self-test as well for you, because you can measure yourself whether you are a traditional manager or an agile leader. So I'll keep it for the last. So these 68 magic words, they were not new in software industry or in any other manufacturing companies as well. We are seeing Toyota is doing some agile practices in 70 years. Then we have seen the maturity in last 40 years. Scrum is there. So these words are basically, or these 68 words, they are basically saying that people are important. Tools or processes are not really important, or they should not be valued. They are important, but they should not be valued as per people. Similarly, I changed a line here for product and service because originally it's for software development. But I use it here as a product and services because I think there are more industries here. So working softwares, working products and services are important than documentations. So no need to write 20-page BRSC for 2 months, or I think sometimes it's 50 pages for 2 months. So just write whatever needed, just in time mechanism. Customer collaboration, they value it more than contract negotiations, and respond to change, on which prior speakers talk about. So there is a value on the right side, but we value more. As an agilist, we value more on the left side. So in my talk related to enterprise agility management or leadership role, I'll talk on 3 areas. One is methods. We'll talk about some methods. Mindset. I think Brother Naeem Iqbal put light on mindset. I'll talk very briefly on it. And then momentum. So its methods and mindset are not enough. You need to build momentum so that a movement of agility can be started, or any other movement. So let's start with with some of the methods. So if we see Scrum, this is a picture I believe, as in any industry, you have seen that this part. You see product backlog, some planning, sprint planning or something. If not, we'll discuss later in some other event. But yeah, if you see this Scrum approach, you can see a lot of loops. You can see a lot of circles here. What they are showing, basically, yes, it's adaptability. It's you may say reflection on past events, but most important is feedback from customer, feedback from product owner, Scrum master, or even the team itself. So there are so many loops just because of the feedback. So Scrum and feedback loop also is not only there are so many feedback loops, but they are so short so that you can accumulate the feedback into your product development or service development, and you can correct yourself as per needs. Instead of waiting for 3 months or 5 months, you can have a feedback every month, even a daily as well, because daily Scrum is here. So for the Scrum, it's fine to have a manual implementation, but there are some tools as well which can put your process into systems. These are some names. Another approach, which is Kanban, you may say task board. Jira supported it well as at an enterprise level. Jira is really a good tool. Trello is a good tool to merge the multiple Kanban boards or task boards. It is good for the teams who are distributed or globally situated. Kanban is still there since 50 years, I believe, or more than that, and people are using it. So these methods are used. Lean, again, another methodology, which is another method which is used since long time. And basically, these are the principles of lean methods. Eliminate waste, so that basically, if you see eliminate waste, I'll just touch on it. Eliminating waste means omit anything that does not value your customer, your client, your product. So anything that takes time, anything that disrupts the delivery, just eliminate. Even your decisions. If your decisions are not valuable to the client, just defer them. So lean methodology is there. Shuhari, well, it's a martial art technique. I think it's formed since 4 centuries, and basically it's Shuhari, Dreyfus, and Tuckmans. These are all the models of mastery or performance development. So Shuhari is basically about obeying your master, obeying your technique, whatever given to you. Then try to make a difference into that, try to disrupt that once you got skillful in that, and then finally make your own technique. So if you watch Matrix, you have seen that initially he just followed the technique and then he built himself as an expert, as a master. So this is just you can watch that and you can align with this methodology. Dreyfus is basically from novice level to the expert level. It says that this model says that initially whenever you are in something, you improve, and initially you are a novice, then you become slightly more good in performance than master or expert. So, and Tuckman's model is more about team development, where teams are formed, then there's an organization take place, then work has been taken place, and then finally they adjourn. So it's about team development areas. Another thing is daily Scrum. It's part of the Scrum, but I put it separately because daily Scrum is a very simple activity which you can put it in even in your daily meetings, if you are very much new to the Agile as well. So basically, it talk about that, what we have done yesterday, what are we going to do today, and are there any roadblocks in our way for our Scrum or release or the current sprint going on. Agile terminology. I think Anand mentioned this point as standardization. So basically, Agile terminology, do you really need it to be an Agile enterprise organization or Agile person or Agile team? Not necessarily. You don't need to follow the Agile as a naming mention. If you are using something else, you can use that. For example, in many traditional organizations, they use Center of Excellence. So keep it. Digital transformation organization, keep it. Don't use the the naming of tribe, squad, but do understand that what does it mean. So as a name, it's not an issue, but as a function, it should do all the functions, inputs, outputs that Agile method can do. Another thing for enterprise organization management is burn down charts and burn up charts. So I'm just putting multiple areas because they are beneficial into many things. Burn down charts can be part of one sprint, one release, and they can be part of multiple sprints. The good thing is that it shows that how much work is remaining and to do by the teams. But the bad thing, it does not incorporate the scope related areas, so scope differences. So for that, we have burn up charts where you can categorize your areas. So if there is a new scope changes, you can add them, and you know that what are the changes remaining from due to scope deviations, what are the changes, what are the pending items from the existing functions. Another thing is sum of scrums. So Yeah, for one team, it's a Scrum. Okay, fine. There are 2 teams, 3 teams. So what happens, how they can coordinate if in a software or in any product, if one part is developed by A team, the other part is, for example, documentation is done by B team, how can they collaborate? So there is a Scrum of Scrums from where Scrum Master from each team join and they make a form of Scrum. If there are multiple teams, they can have multiple, or distributed teams, they can have multiple Scrums of Scrums. And even at the top level, the hierarchical organizations, Scrum of Scrums or meta Scrums can be formed. I think Sheikh Waqas asked this question, that how a hierarchical organization can, and so part of that answer is this, that you can make your Scrum of Scrums. So Agile gave, or Scrum methods, they are giving some room to implement this area. So another method that is currently very popular is design thinking approach. If you see all these principles in design thinking, it's really a good approach, because they are not only using MVP, they are using MDPs as a minimum delightable products or prototypes. But if you see the principles, these are the same as Agile Manifesto, most of them. Visualize and show, for example, is prototyping. Experiment and iterate is basically again sprinting as per Scrum. Co-create, grow, and scale is basically try and, so at co-create, grow, and scale is basically firing the bullets and then fire cannon. So basically this is the thing that you try with small steps, and then a big step goes on. And people should have varying mental state. A lot of talk about mindset has been going on earlier. So it's about that. If somebody has a different mental state, it's fine to incorporate that, because it will be good for the journey. And reflect on actions is basically, again, looping, double loop, and then talk about double looping as well, where you defer the decisions. So these are the, so design thinking and Agile are very much common in practices, but design thinking provides you more, you may say, tools or deliverables that you can apply. A good mature exercise. Again, the terminologies are not important. You don't need to use tribe terminology of design thinking. You can use COE or a team or whatever you're using. So here, mindset, I think Mr. Naeem already talked about from Carol Dweck. I think Carol Dweck was the author of this book, Mindset, came in 2007. Mr. Naeem already talked about fixed mindset and growth mindset. So it definitely needed it. And one of the key area to identify is that, do you or your company think that yourself is permanent? If yes, then you are a fixed mindset. If not, then it's a growth mindset. It means that you want to grow. You're not permanent. You want to grow as well. So if you have a growth mindset, if you think that your current state is temporary, you need to move on. For organizations, growth mindset, we can measure it if they are really promoting the risk taking or innovation. There is an example of David Packard in HP. He awarded one of the person who actually go beyond normal process, and he took the risk and go for innovation. So such organizations which are which are of growth mindset, they promote risk taking. They give awards or they give incentives to the people who innovate. If they are not, they are mainly traditional or fixed mindset companies. Group thinking is yes. There was a comment on instead of I, we should use we. Yes, we should use we, but group thinking is slightly different than we thinking. Group thinking is maybe enforced by the leader, and maybe the leader is enforcing it, and others are following it because of they just need to follow because there's a leader there. So try to accept the differences. This is called we thinking. So group thinking is just not limit yourself by a presence of powerful person in the team. This is about we think. But still, mindset, is this enough? Do you think that it's enough? I think it's not really, because I have a mindset of agile. We all have maybe mindset of agile, but what about others? If application sector or application team is developing and they are really good and they have a mindset of agility, what about the applications planning team? Maybe they are still traditional. So it's easy to blame the other teams. So mindset is not enough for the team or the persons. It's really an important thing to have a momentum in shape. I want to give a General Electric example. GE is a big company. This is again another question on hierarchical company. GE was a big company, is a big company. They have hierarchical existence and they were failing. In 1989, Jack Welch, he introduced this mission statement. And if you read it just for a few seconds, that become number one or number two in every market we serve and revolutionize this company to have the speed and agility of a small enterprise. So a big company, a hierarchical company, a global company, a traditional company, they are having this mission statement. Why? Just because they want to have a shared and clear vision, a purpose, so that everyone can understand. If GE has existence in Pakistan or US or Australia and Gulf, they can understand that they want to be number one or number two by similar to as smaller companies, because in 80s, after companies moved from Japan to many other countries, many small companies grew up, and so GE changed their mission statement. Why? They want to have a clear vision. They want to have a clear purpose. So this is really important, that the momentum should go on. But momentum and movement can be started by who? A leader, definitely. It can be a leader at any level. It can be, it's not necessarily a CEO or board of directors. It can be a lower level, middle level, or middle management person as well. I think leadership levels are really some concepts that you can go through and to understand that how to build a momentum, how companies can build momentum. My favorite authors, John Maxwell, and the other one is Jim Collins. Both actually talk about these levels of leadership by which a leader at any level of the organization, they can build the momentum or build the movement. So if you see with John, they are slightly different, by the way. John is more towards soft side, or the people side. Jim is towards corporate side, and his book Good to Great is incorporating the multi corporations domains. So he's more into management, executive side, and John Maxwell is on a personal level. He talks about it at a personal level, but both are very relevant for organizations, for people. So if you talk about John Maxwell, his level, 5 level of leadership started with the position that you are a leader because you are assigned with as a job, as a project manager, as a functional manager, and now people have to follow you. Whatever they blame you, they don't like you, but you have to. The people have to follow that guy because he's at this position. He has the right to be followed. Then it moves on to relationship. That if the manager or the team, they build the relationship. Now people are doing work because of their relationships. And similarly, level 3 is when after the relationships, if you are going to produce something, you have done something, you have achieved something 2 years, 3 years back, and now people are following, okay, yes, he has a success story, now I have to follow him. So this is the thing that makes you a level 3 leader. Level 4 is people development. So you do not make something, some product or service, but now you develop people. You were the CFO and you prepared 2 other people who are at the same level now, or who are the CFOs in other organizations. So this is people developer who invest on people. So when you invest on people, people trust you. And this is the level 4 leadership. Level 5 is basically pinnacle. This is people respect you, not because of your of your position, but because of your work and humility and many other things. So this is the highest level of a leader. But one thing that people can learn from these things. There is a difference between these two authors. What Jim Collins says that if the person do not have the seeds of level 5 leadership, he cannot grow. John is always saying that, okay, now you have to work on your muscles of leadership so you can grow. With Jim Collins, basically slightly, they are like, you may say, related to each other, but it's more towards organizational abilities. So level 1 is basically highly capable individual, very good skills, good programmer, even working habits is really good. He's working from 9 to 5 and do not go for, other things during this time. So working habits and all these as a level 1, these are level 1 leaders. Level 2 is contributing to the team member. So level 2 leader is contributed. He can go to the other colleague and reach out to him to help. So maybe he gets some problem from the osmotic communication or anything. He just go there and contribute to the overall team. And Agile purpose is that. So you reach on that level. Level 3 is competent manager. So So level 3 has, in Jim Collins' philosophy, level 3 has the other levels skills, lower level skills. He is also capable person. He is good working habits. He is also contributing team member, but he is also a person who meet the objectives of department or the company or organization or community or the team, sporting team even. So he is a very competent manager. He meet the objectives. He win the games in the summer season or whatever. So he is a competent manager. Level 4 is effective leader. He stimulate performance. So the team itself work on it. If he got if he's not available due to some issue, the team keep on performing because it's because they know that there is a stimulation behind, and the leaders they follow the leader actually in absence of him. Level 5 leadership is basically achieved when a person at its maximum humility and a professional will. So it doesn't mean that the humility doesn't mean that the person do not have the ego. He do have an ego, but he has a humility. He has the ego to perform better. He has the ego to meet objectives, but not at the cost of insulting others or anything. So level 5 holds all these attributes and reach to this level. These guys do study this in detail, and there are so many case studies. Jim Collins gives a lot of case studies. John Maxwell also provides some areas. Even at the start of the event, when Mr. Naeem Iqbal present, those are basically level 5 leaders in their domains. How can we forget Pakistan in all this? So if you see that Pakistan has gone through so much crisis in the last 3-4 decades, you may say. We have so many things going on, socially, politically, military-wise. So somewhere, as we are doing some exercise here, as Agile Regional Marathon, people have done something, and they built some organization in this time. So there is a book I recommend you, always Candles in the Dark, written by Mr. Aliyu and Sayyid Turan. They basically identified 9 organizations in last 30-40 years, and that really developed themselves. They do not only develop and deliver, they sustain as well during this time. That includes basically LUMS, IBA, NADRA also. Mr. Naeem has done remarkable work there as well. So NADRA is part of that. Rescue 9211, I think, this one. So these are Benazir Income Support Program, that is also a success that is included in this book. So there are 9 organizations that really meet their objectives. So I think if we see that growth mindset companies, agile companies who meet their objectives, this is a good feed for them. It also includes some failure companies as well. So people really invest them, government really invest them, but still they are the failures. And it talk about private and public companies both. So it's a good read on Pakistani perspective, how Agile is going on, or a good vibrant organization working on in our domain. A self-test, I just want to share another document with you. So can I, Mr. Misam, I can share this document on Zoom to the audience?
Yeah, probably, I guess after this event, we would like to request all the speakers. So then we can share this stuff with the participants. That would be a lot better.
Okay, right. I will share with you. I will share with you, and then you can send the email. But I just want to tell the audience that how can they, basically this assessment tool is invented by Dr. Clayton Christensen, and he provides these some of these questions. There are many other available, by the way. So here, this set contains only 20 questions. You just need to answer them. And for example, I just repeat, frequently my ideas or perspective diverge radically from others. So is it really diverge from others, or they are following the same path as others? So you need to score it. So if similarly, the second question, you need to score it. I am very careful to avoid making mistakes in my work. So if you are, then click on or circle the strongly agree or whatever your situation is. So these questions, you need to rate it. And once you rate it, you can just calculate your odd question scores. If your odd questions score is higher, then you are an agile leader. You are an innovative leader. And if not, and if your even question score is higher, then you are a manager. So it's a basic, very basic one, basic tool, but it really shows you where you are as a leader or as a traditional manager. Last thing, I want to talk about snowflakes. Basically, this term is used by Jonathan Smart. He is enterprise agility lead in Deloitte Digital. So he said that we are all snowflakes as a people, as family, in person, in organization, as teams, as supporting teams, as communities. Why? He said that basically there's a science behind that, which is that snowflakes cannot be duplicated in appearance or in their molecular composition. So they are always unique. We are unique. Our where we are situated, our family structure, our organization structure, our community structures are changed. So we are like snowflakes, and it's agile is helping us to manage our this kind of difference in structure. How can we deal with the things that came to us, and so agile is helping us. Traditional or fixed mindsets, they are not helping us in reaching that. But agile and growth mindset, they always help us in getting better ourselves in our organizations or as persons. So this is the end of my talk. Thank you, Mr.
Wonderful, sir. Thanks for joining us. And before you leave, again, as per the norm, as per the Patron, again, audience, अगर आपके सवालात हैं तो बराए मेहरबानी टूल यूज कीजिए, हाथ बुलंद कीजिए ताकि हम आपको दावत दे सकें कि आप अपना सवाल कीजिए. So let's wait for the audience. Okay. हाँ, असल होता ही है कि वो मुस्तकिल एक इवेंट पे बैठे थोड़ा लोग थक जाते हैं. So मुझे भी लगता है कि शायद लोग थकन से. अच्छा, okay, thanks अदील. Amara Anjum, thanks Kathy, it was very nice. Thank you, Amara. And I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So thank you again. How much, I mean, what's the time, by the way, Rana Saab, aap jahan baithe hain, Sydney, if I'm not wrong.
मेरी तरफ 11 बज रहा है.
It's already quite late, but खैर आपके पास चूंकि सीजन का डिफरेंस है, हमारा विंटर है, तो आपका आई गेस ये समर चल रहा है.
समर चल रहा है. नहीं, बड़ा प्लेजेंट समर है यहाँ पे. वो ला नीना एक वेदर कंडीशन आई हुई है. नहीं तो ये समर वाकई समर होता, लेकिन इस दफा एक ये पैसिफिक में एक सिचुएशन है जिसकी वजह से थोड़ा सा बेहतर मौसम. सो इट्स बेटर देन अर्लियर समर्स.
जी, आई होप ये समर गर्मी वाला है, फल वाला है.
हाँ, थोड़ा सा ठंड वाला है. स्नोफ्लेक्स की बात मैंने इसीलिए की कि स्नोफ्लेक्स वाकई मरी की गर्मी और मरी की सर्दी और वहाँ की जो स्नो, रियली मिसिंग दैट. this time. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks again for joining us. And what we'll be doing, I guess, Rana Saab, if you could write down your LinkedIn profile in the chat section, so whoever from the audience wants to connect can easily connect with you and interact and have a future conversation with you as well. So